All right. I see we got Stephanie's on it. Jody Wolf is on again. Welcome back. We got Katie from Ohio, Stephanie from Rhode Island, Helen in Texas. Awesome. We have a bunch of people already here. Let us then get started. Here is day 3 of our training. So what I want to start with is always just kind of getting to know a little bit about the women that are tuning in today here. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys to either put down an A, a B, or a C. All right, let me know which one of these you are. It's okay if you are more than one. You can pick multiple letters if this identifies you. But if you are the type of lady landlord that is saying, I really just scroll on Facebook all day long, but I'm just really overwhelmed. I look at all these properties. I have no idea what to do. I have no idea if these properties are good deals or bad deals or if I should be making offers or what I should do next. But I just sit there and skrill on Zillow all day. Put an A down in the chat. Let me know that you are an A, okay? Then, if you are the type of person, you're going to put a B down. If you are a person that says, well, I got my first rental property, I put my funds into it, I was able to buy it, but now how do I buy the next one? I used all my savings on the first property. I have no idea how I'm going to scale, no idea how I'm going to be able to get that second property. Put a B down in the chat, okay? Let me know if that's the situation that you feel like you're facing right now. Let me know by putting a B down in the chat. Then, my C people. My C people are the ones that you purchased a property, maybe you inherited it, and now you're saying, great, well, now I'm in a spot where I don't even know if that is a good deal. I have this property. Am I making money? Am I losing money? Was it a good purchase? Was this something I should really offload? You are my C's, okay? So put a C down in the chat here. So I saw Jody was saying she was a B, Joseph saying, and Amanda are saying a B, Christina's an A, Katrina's an A, Katie's a B, Bernadette's a B. Okay, perfect. Thank you. This is all going to help me as we continue to talk about today's training, so that way I can really make sure to have this tailored to you. So if you did not get to see Tuesday's training, the homework assignment I gave everybody was to be able to go and to write a letter to themselves as a successful real estate investor from 2034, 10 years from now, really just sharing a little bit about what their life was going to look like and talking back to themselves at 2024. I loved reading Stephanie Winfrey. I loved what you were saying that you were going to pick up another 4 properties in that 10 years to be able to add to your portfolio, and that you were going to be spending part of your year down in your dream home in the Caribbean. Stephanie, if you were thinking also the Dominican Republic, would love to be your neighbor, would love to have somebody else to hang out with down on the island. So let me know if that was the country you're thinking of or if there was another place that your dream home was going to be. Barb Ormans talked about how she was going to be buying rental properties in locations near family and friends. So then that way when she would go visit them and check up on her properties, that traveling would be another business expense for her, another tax deduction. That was a beautiful goal and a beautiful dream. Anna Bishop, I just wanted to give you a shout out to. You were saying that within 10 years that not only were you going to leave your day job, but that you would be able to stay home with your kids and homeschool them. And I've heard that a lot from women in this group, and I think that was really, really cool for you to be able to just share that vision that you have for your family with all of us. There were so many other people that entered their homeworks in yesterday. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, on Monday, we talked all about why real estate investing is such an amazing investment vehicle to be able to get you to financial freedom the fastest. Then on Tuesday, we started talking about the compound effect within real estate investing. And we started also talking about what is the risk of doing absolutely nothing and where that's going to get you to. So once again, if you have not seen those trainings, let us know Monday, Tuesday. Let us know which day you need down in the chat. But ladies, you've come so far. I love seeing so many of you that have shown up, that have been committing, that have been doing assignments. I've seen the same people doing assignment number 1 and doing assignment number 2, and I know that you're going to be doing assignment number 3. And I cannot wait, once again, for us to be putting that together on our master class over the next couple of days. And you guys are going to go into the weekend with a list of your action steps of what you need to do next. I think that's really, really cool, and I'm excited for that. All right, but after yesterday, we talked about how that compound effect is really the best way to be able to reach financial freedom through real estate investing. That's what we've put together so far. But let's talk about the how, because I know those steps are things that are really important. So if you're a person that's been sitting there being like, I want to grow my real estate portfolio, but it's just the how, it's the steps, the what do I do next, that's where you feel like you've been stuck, put steps down in the chat. If you put the steps down, I guess I'll tell you our steps. All right? So, oh, that's perfect. All right, I've already seen steps going nuts here in the chat. So let's dive into this here. So what we do, and really how I mentor women within our Lady Landlords Inner Circle, is really breaking down the steps that need to happen, okay? Here's how they go through, and then I'm going to break them all down for you ladies, okay? Does that sound fair? So here's how we do this. We really need to be able to identify the right market. We need to be able to secure funding. We need to understand how to properly analyze deals. We need to be able to systemize tenants, and we need to put that all on repeat. Okay, that's our focus of what we're doing. So let's break this all down for you ladies. And like I said, this is why I warned you guys, really good to be able to have someone to take some notes on today, be able to write down what we're going through here. But what's really important about real estate investing, and one of the biggest mistakes that I see real estate investors make, is that you have to start with your end goal. I see so many people thinking about, like, really what's step number 2, when actually what you need to do is figure out what that end goal is and really reverse engineer this, if you will. When you think about it, you don't just get in your car and just start driving somewhere, and then as you're driving, and you've been driving for a few miles now, say, hey, I need to figure out where I want to go. No, you get into your car with an intention, okay? We need to be building portfolios intentionally. We need to really think about what our end goal is, and then start to work our way backwards from that. You can't use Waze unless you actually have a destination in mind. You have to figure out what that goal is. Real estate is the exact same as that, okay? So yesterday, we really talked about how every single one of us, all 50,000 women in Lady Landlords, we all have different paths. We all have different goals. We all have a different set of circumstances. Well, we now have to then make sure that we are evaluating our own goals and our own financial situation to really create that specific plan for every single one of us, okay? And not just you, but also what your family situation like. If you have a business partner, that's also okay to incorporate them with that. Listen, I get it. I know we are Lady Landlords. I know that we are absolutely that group where we are no men allowed. But in our Lady Landlords mentorship, we do invite men into that when they have their partner. If they are the supportive partner that's going to come in and say, hey, my wife and I are going to build this together, and those men want to take an active role, because not all partners, not all men want that active role, but if those men actually do want to take an active role, well, they're going to have to be a part of that. They're a part of your future, right? So we're going to need to understand what those goals are. Otherwise, women definitely have female partners, either life partners, business partners, what they mean. Of course, you should invite them to Lady Landlords. They should be here, but you cannot invite men to the Lady Landlords group. But in the mentorship, we do allow couples in there for that reason. I can't give half of a couple a plan. We need a plan that really bridges that together for absolutely everybody, okay? So let's start here. When we talk about identifying a market, one of the first places you have to start is, are you going to be buying locally, or are you going to be buying out of state, or maybe even out of country? We also have to talk about what even is a good market. What does the appreciation look like to you? What does the cash flow look like to you? How important are those numbers even are to you? Before we can do anything else, we need to know what that looks like. If you are not sure, if you really feel like market is the most difficult thing, that you're like, oh my God, I just do not know where to buy. I don't know if I should buy here in my area, if I should buy somewhere else, put the word market down in the chat. I'm just curious to know who feels that this is the biggest step that is holding them back. If so, put market down in the chat. And listen, like, I totally get this. We actually had a member in the Inner Circle, Rose. She was over here with me in New York. She was actually one of the Inner Circle members that I actually got to meet in person, which is absolutely amazing. But she really felt very limited by needing to buy in her local area, okay? We talk about New York here a lot in this group, and other states that tend to be the high cost of living areas, that tend to be those competitive markets. New York is one of those places. She felt like she needed to see it. She felt like it needed to be tangible. Well, she lived in New York City. Kind of expensive if you weren't sure. Kind of a difficult place to start investing when you're talking really $1 million for a shoebox if you're talking Manhattan. So for Rose, she picked a market in upstate New York. She felt she needed to be that boots on the ground. She needed to be able to see that market, and made a plan to actually go to upstate New York and look at rental properties there. Got her plane, had a realtor set her up with showings. She got up there, she said the second she got off the plane, she was like, oh my God, this is not a space. She realized it was within her budget, but it was not the market that she felt would bring her any type of cash flow, any type of appreciation, and really not the market that she was looking at all. Honestly, she was pretty upset about it and was like, well, where do I go from here? We talked about what needs to happen to be able to purchase property out of state, long distance, whatever you want to call it, and really went back and identified what was going to be important to her in a good market, because a good market to me is going to be a good market that's going to be different to you, okay? We ended up saying, well, what needs to happen for one, for you to identify what a good market is, and then two, what do we have to do to have you feel confident that you can buy in any market, regardless of if it's down the street from you or if it's on the other side of the world. Rose ended up buying not just one, but two properties now down in Alabama that's bringing in $1,500 a month for her. She was able to do that in just 1 year, picked up two properties, bringing in that cash flow. That's going to make a huge difference. That added to her salary. She's actually a New York City school teacher. They do not get paid what they are worth. So it was really great to be able to give her that extra income coming in to be able to improve her quality of life. So market is the first place you want to be able to start. Step number 2 that I named, build your team. Ladies, you are now the CEO of your real estate investing business. Listen, your team are your trusted advisors. They are the experts in what they do. But our role as the CEO, as the head of our business, is to make sure that we, one, identify and pick the right people to have on our team, and also to understand how to put together all of those different players. Team is the place that I get stuck. I have no idea how to identify the right people for my team. I don't even know who I need on my team. But as really the person that is running this business, we have to be very, very clear on who those experts are on our team and how they all relate and work together, okay? I have said over and over in this group, I am not a realtor. I have no intention of being a realtor. I do not want to be a realtor. The reason for that is because I am perfectly happy to have experts be experts where experts are experts. I don't want to be a realtor. That's just not my goal. Trust me, with the amount of questions I ask my realtor, with the way that I lean on him for his expertise, understanding all the laws and regulations and his role, he is an expert there. I'm going to utilize that within my own business, but my goal, my plan is not to be an expert in appraising and the lawyering that needs to be done. And title insurance? Nuh-uh. Those are not things that I want to take on as my responsibility. I want to be the best investor I can, and I have to understand how to use those experts around me, okay? And that's what a good leader and a good investor is able to do. It's important to understand how to stay in your lane and make sure that they stay in theirs, okay? There is enough to be able to learn in real estate investing, but we need to be able to really focus and to use our time, our money, our energy as efficiently as we can, because usually when we're starting out growing our portfolio, we're probably working full time. We have families full time. We have kids full time. These are things that we need to make sure that we are utilizing the people that are experts around us, so in that way we can be focused in the places that we need to be focused. But I get it. A lot of you, Helen put team down, Barb put team down, Marlene put team down, Bernadette put team down. I understand that finding the right people can be challenging. If anybody has ever heard of a contractor horror story, a story that just went bad, that went absolutely disastrous when it comes to contractors, with rehab slips, whatever it may be, put a C down in the chat, okay? There's probably a contractor gone bad story every single day on Judge Judy. So if you've ever heard of a contractor story going bad, put a C down. And literally that should be every single one of you should be doing that right now. Every single person here is going to have that. This is actually what happened with one of our Inner Circle members, Angela, who lives out in California. She came and joined the Inner Circle. She was actually mid-flip. She was already in the middle of this project. She came to me and said, hey, listen, I can't scale my portfolio because all of my money is stuck in a flip. It was all tied up in that property. The problem is that she hired a contractor to do really a full gut renovation in Northern California, and didn't work out, and he kind of just walked off the job. So she went and she found another contractor. And then that created a whole bunch of problems. Bernadette, I feel like I'm talking about you here, talking about, your C's times 10 here. This is exactly what happened to Angela. Every single time she had a contractor, she went through like 4 or 5 different contractors over the course of a year. And it just, unfortunately, now, not only was that work not getting done, where she couldn't be bringing in any of that cash flow, she couldn't leverage that property, but one of the biggest problems was that she now was actually going into debt because of this. The reason for that is because she had her carrying costs. The rehab was not supposed to be taking her that long at all. So every single month now, not only is she not bringing any money in, but this is now costing her money by just having the beams and a foundation of a house just sit there and not be able to do anything. So now she's going into debt. She's getting phone calls from her lender all the time being like, when are you paying us back? When are you paying us back? That's an incredible amount of stress, not just financial stress, energy stress, but where are we going next stress that she was dealing with. And it was all because she did not have the right people around her. In our inner circle, I always think this is funny. I've kind of become known as the person that works within competitive and high cost of living markets because I started my investments over here in New York. But we get a lot of people that come and join the group, usually from New York, Florida, California, Texas. So we had a ton of other members in our inner circle that were actually from that same area in California as Angela was. So we were to go to them, get some of the local connections, figure out who else people had worked with in the past, where those referrals were coming from, who we knew were good contractors. And we were able to have Angela go through, ask the right questions to interview those people, pick the right contractor. We had that house done in 3 months. In 3 months, we were able to finish the house, get it on the market so we can get it rented, and start pulling the equity out of that property, out of her pocket to be able to grow that portfolio. So just really amazing what you can do when you have that network and when you have that right team of people around you. The third step I mentioned that we were going to talk about today was securing funding. Okay, now I'm going to be very direct here. I'm going to be very clear here. The reality is you need money to be able to buy real estate. You need money. You need capital. Now, you might be saying, but Becky, I hear all the time that people say you can buy real estate without money. Cool. There are options for you to be able to obtain money, but you're going to need time. So you either have to have time or you have to have money. If you have money, you probably want to have somewhere between 40 to 50K in a bank, somewhere liquid, really is going to be helpful for you. But if you don't have that money that is liquid, you want to start thinking about where else you actually might have cash. Do you have equity in your current home or in a property that you have? Do you have investments somewhere else that really are not performing very well? Do you have a 401k? Where else do you have money? Okay. If actually you are looking to use your IRA, this is a great topic. I love talking about this in Lady Landlords. If you are looking to use funds from your IRA to be able to invest, we have a great episode all about that. It's one of the most listened to episodes we have on the Lady Landlords podcast. It's absolutely fantastic to start thinking what you can do besides just using money from your savings. But if you don't have money in some of those places, you are just going to need more time to be able to figure out where you're going to be able to get that cash from. There absolutely are strategies where you personally do not have to have a lot of money in those savings. You can put down little to nothing in real estate. I'm doing a training on that soon, though. So we will be talking about those strategies on how to be able to buy real estate with little or none of your own money. But for now, the thing that I can offer you if you are in that situation is actually one of our other episodes on the Lady Landlords podcast, all about how to raise capital, how to be able to use private lenders to be able to buy property, okay? Otherwise, what's really important with securing funding here is you need to be able to evaluate your own financial situation, and that's what's going to be able to determine what loans are going to be good for you. It doesn't matter if you have a W-2 or you're self-employed or you're unemployed or you're on disability or you were a veteran. There are so many different things that you can do to be able to still invest in real estate because there are so many different funding options out there, okay? So a lot of you have actually used our financial cheat sheet. It's actually one of my favorite documents. I put this together for myself when I started investing in real estate because I just needed to keep straight trying to figure out what type of financing I should use and in what type of situation. So I have a cheat sheet that I put together that talks about 13 different ways to be able to fund your real estate. I have traditional ways on there. I have creative ways on there. I tell you which type of funding you should use in which situation and what types of requirements are. But I want you to be able to start getting out of that cycle of save for a property, then buy, then save again, then buy again. Because to be honest, that kind of sucks, okay? That's going to take you forever. What you really need to do is start to become your own bank. What I like to really help women be able to do in our inner circle is create their own self-sustaining portfolios. What I mean by that is to use your portfolio and your first couple purchases and your first couple deals to create the capital you need, and then continuously reinvest that money into your own properties. That's actually how I built my portfolio. I have 16 properties. I bought them within 5 years. Almost all of them are in the New York City area. I own a couple properties, as some of you guys may know, down in the Dominican Republic. But how did I buy 16 doors in 5 years? Honestly, I just had to save money that first time, and then I took everything that I did within those properties, and then I just kept buying more properties with that. I never had to keep coming out of my own pocket for money, because trying to save money in New York's kind of difficult to do. And honestly, with cost of living and inflation right now, it's kind of hard to do anywhere, right? I don't want you to be in that situation. So if you are a person that's saying, I would totally invest in real estate, but it's the funding that is my biggest challenge, put the word funding down in the chat. Let me know that this is really where you are struggling, so that way we can make sure to continue to talk about that, and I can continue to get some resources. I might just do a full training, to be honest, on funding itself. But we actually had Christine, who was another member of the Inner Circle from over here in New York. She had the same problem. I actually got to sit down with both Christine and her husband. They were saying, hey, I want to be able to grow my real estate portfolio, but we just don't have the money. We just don't have the capital available. We were able to look at their finances, and I was like, guys, you actually have money in other places that you're not using, that they're not really adding anything to what you were looking to do and accomplish your goals. So we decided to use a small portion of that as that starter money to build this self-sustaining portfolio. We didn't have to pull things out of like other investments that were doing well, but we were able to take that money and turn it into monthly cash flow through a new rental property. They now knew exactly how they were going to pay for their rental properties moving forward. They now knew exactly how not to over leverage themselves and not to have so many other loans out that was going to just crush them or put them in too risky of a situation, especially since they had 3 kids. But they really learned how to use every dollar that they had to its maximum potential and to really make sure that they're making every single dollar count. And that was just something really cool for me to be able to show them. Now, fourth one we were going to talk about here, analyzing deals, okay? Now, when it comes to real estate investing, it is absolutely worthless to have real estate unless you understand your numbers, okay? My New York's going to kind of show, but this is absolutely where people lose their shirts in real estate investing. You have to understand not just how to calculate your cash flow and your ROI and your COC and all those important acronyms, but you actually have to understand what those numbers mean. That's really great if you can calculate and you could do the math skills to say my cap rate is 7. Okay, cool. Well, is good for you or not good for you? Is that high? Is that low? Unless you can actually answer that question, you shouldn't be buying real estate. We need to understand what those numbers are actually telling us and what those numbers are telling Barb versus Jennifer versus Millie versus Amanda. Everybody's numbers are different with what they are looking for, and that's going to be important. I get people that message me. Like I said, many of you guys have my text message, have my phone number, and are texting me. A lot of you guys will reach out even just within Lady Landlords. I get messages every single day. Hey, Becky, is this a good deal? And my answer is the same every single time. I don't know. We need to talk about your situation. We need to talk about your finances. We need to talk about your goals. I can tell you if something's a good deal for me, but I don't know if something's a good deal for you unless we already evaluated your financial situation, what your strategy is, and what your specific goals are. Because same thing, out of 50,000 women, none of us here are going to have the same really requirements in the same situation that we're looking for. Just not going to happen. Now, I actually did a training a couple of months ago, actually, all about how to not only analyze your deals and do the math, but how to actually interpret those numbers. Okay, we had a lot of new women in this group since that point in time. So if you have not gotten that free training on how to properly analyze deals, put the word math down in the chat, and I will make sure to send you over some information. I'll send you over that free training that you can watch that'll start to walk you through not only how to do the math, but how to actually interpret the numbers, okay? So if anybody needs that, put the word math down in the chat here for me. Now, next up, systemizing tenants. None of us actually want to be landlords, okay? We are all here to enjoy our lives. We're here for the freedom. We want to spend time with our family. We want to spend time with our friends. A lot of us want to go travel. I know that's a big thing for me. So let's talk about what we can do to start systemizing tenants so that way we decrease our time it takes for management, but increases our own time to do the things that we want to do in life, okay? Because listen, I'm going to tell you right now, one thing I do not do is I do not sit home waiting for my phone to ring for tenant problems, okay? I go travel. I will be fine if something happens with one of my properties while I'm away. Many of you guys know I live in the Dominican Republic half the year. I live in New York the other half of the year. I usually spend a month or two over in Spain every single year. This is something that's the way that I set up my life. Not to be sitting there, to be tied to my phone waiting for a tenant problem. I do not shudder when I get a text message from a tenant, or I do not get so concerned when all of a sudden a tenant's calling me, because I have systems in place and I understand, and I've already put together a workflow of what's going to happen when there's a situation at any of my rental properties. And to be honest, I did that when I bought the very first door. I treated my one door, my one apartment in a duplex that I lived in, I ran that as if I owned 100 different properties. I structurized it. The way that those systems were in place was that exact same way. And you need to be doing this. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there being like, oh my God, who's calling me now? Please not tell me it's Susie from apartment 2. Okay? And I know a lot of us in Lady Landlords get stressed out that they're going to get this message or this email or this request from a tenant that's going to throw them into a tizzy. We need to get out ahead of that. We had Michelle, who was in our inner circle last year. Michelle had 20 doors. She spent years growing her portfolio. She worked her butt off to be able to build that portfolio, and she actually left her job. She was making great money. She was already a full-time landlord at this point in time when we had met her, but her day was hectic. She was running around dealing with this problem with the tenant, that problem with the tenant, this problem with the contractor, this problem with the attorney. Honestly, I was really sad for her because she worked so hard to build that portfolio, to make that money, to get out of the 9-to-5 job, and all of a sudden, she actually just created a new full-time job for her that was a little bit worse, because now that she was the person running everything and was now self-employed, she was now more shackled to her real estate portfolio than she was when she was working for the man in her 9-to-5. So we need to turn that all the way around, because that to me was like the saddest situation, to see somebody that had actually built a portfolio but didn't have the freedom. I can't actually think of anything worse than that situation. We needed to be able to get her life back so that way her management made sense, that there were workflows, that there were certain responses, there were certain ways that things were going to be handled. So then that way, now we could decrease that time she was trapped in tenant management. So now she can actually have grown her portfolio. She can actually scale and add more properties to that. And she can also just enjoy her life and do the things that she set out to do when she was working on leaving the 9-to-5 job. Purchasing more rental properties does not mean that you should be spending more time on tenant management. More rental properties does not mean more time in tenant management. Okay? That's the beautiful thing about real estate and about scaling this business, is that you take up no more of your time. Wouldn't you just love to be able to acquire more properties for more cash flow and just drop those properties already into a sustainable, well-running, well-oiled machine? I know I do. I'm sure that's you. If you were saying, I would absolutely love to just have my tenant management processes just running so I don't have to deal with the day-to-day operations of tenants, put a Y down in the chat. Let me know that I am not alone here. Really, our last step here is repeat. We don't have to go recreating the wheel. Real estate investing has been around forever. It has proven strategies, okay? You just need to understand what strategy is right for you and really put it on repeat. I know after I bought that first property, I bought a duplex that I house hacked, lived in one side, rented out the other. When I bought that, everybody around me was telling me, no, you can't go buy another rental property right now. No, you can't buy another rental property now. You have to wait, you have to retool, you have to do this. And to be honest, I listened to a bunch of people at first. And I went and I listened to every podcast and read every book and went to every networking event trying to figure out, like, where's my answer? Where's the next strategy? Where's the next strategy? What am I supposed to do now? When really, it was doing the exact same thing I'd already done and just doing it over. So I got to spend less time, less energy, less money, and made more money. This is why it is so important that every single one of us really focuses on the vision of what each of us want to be. And that is exactly why I had you guys all do that exercise from Tuesday. So one thing I will say about our inner circle is I personally just tend to attract the people who are ready to take action, that are really saying, like, this is for me, this is what I want to be doing. I cannot go another day without really putting that energy into growing who I am and growing what my life looks like and really just living my life to its absolute fullest. Personally, like I said earlier, I specialize in strategies for high cost of living markets, for competitive markets. I grew my portfolio in New York. I am happy to invest in New York. I know not everybody wants to invest here, but sometimes it makes sense to still invest in New York. It makes sense to still invest in a California, in a Florida, in a Texas. And honestly, a lot of you have heard that phrase, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And I completely agree with that when it comes to thinking about real estate investing. Now, I get it. You might be in a position where you're saying, I don't necessarily have the education, I don't have the support to really feel confident in growing my portfolio. And listen, I get it. That's totally normal. This is you now a business. You are now playing real life Monopoly, okay? There are consequences to actions. We need to be able to get you those foundations. We need to be able to start laying the educational piece because that's where your confidence begins to grow. Once you're able to get that down, now you can start to be able to scale. It becomes easier to find deals, to start thinking about how you're going to fund deals. You can start thinking more creatively. There are so many different ways to be able to grow that portfolio. And honestly, your vision will start to change. And it should. You are changing, you are growing, and your vision needs to grow along with that. It needs to be able to shift. And that's when the cool things happen. Because it's at that point in time when you really start to get to identify and go after the things that are really important to you and in your life in a way that you never even knew or realized. I talk to Lady Landlords all day long. It's one of my favorite things about starting this community and getting to see what that looks like. And one of my favorite things about my role as a mentor is being able to really hold that vision for those women. But something that I've come to realize after working with like 600 different investors in Lady Landlords over the past 4 years is usually the first goal that women tell me that they want is usually not actually the goal that they really want. We tend to be a little bit short-sighted because we don't even have the vision of the things that are possible at that point in time. And we need to be able to get out of our own way to really be able to see where our true passion lies. And this is something that I personally experienced myself. My whole goal within real estate investing was that I thought I wanted that financial freedom. I wanted to not have a daytime job. I wanted to be able to travel more. I wanted to go live abroad. And I worked my butt off to be able to do those things. I now get to live in the Dominican Republic for half of the year. In about 2 weeks, I'm heading over to Europe. I'm getting to go to the Olympics in Paris. That is an absolute bucket list thing for me. And to be honest, I bought a one-way flight. I'm going to go down to Malta for a little bit. I'm going to stop over in Spain. I'm looking at buying property where I used to live in Spain. Those are the things that are really important to me. And that's really what I thought was kind of my goals in life. But once I was able to get through those and clear those things out of the way, what I saw that I was really looking for was a community. I wanted to be around other women that were making moves in their own life and also that were not going to be afraid to go after the things that they wanted and were going to go out and do that just like me. I realized I am a very good connector. I like being that conduit to really be able to help other women accomplish what they're looking to do through Lady Landlords. And one of my favorite things to do is be able to say, oh, I got the person for you. Oh, I know exactly how we can do that, and be able to put those things together. Now, I already retired myself with my real estate. My goal was to become a full-time investor and not have a day job by the time I reached 40. I turned 40 back in February. I retired last year, right? But being able to really find what that true purpose in your life was, to be honest, that was kind of a lot cooler. And now, that's your turn. Now it is time for you to be able to do those things. So, I am happy to announce here on this call that the Lady Landlords Inner Circle will be opening its doors soon. A little bit more time, and you will have that exact same opportunity to learn how Lady Landlords will be able to also support you on that journey, okay? I will be opening those doors so that way you can learn just exactly how you can go through that transformative process. I think it's so amazing what women can do when we work together to lift each other up, and that's really what our inner circle is all about. We get to be able to work together to provide you the customized support so that way you know exactly every single step of what you have to do to be able to reach your goals, your real estate success, not mine, not anybody else's, so that way you can see the changes that you want to see in your life. Inside our program, you'll be able to get that customized support that you need. And that's honestly my favorite part of getting to work with people, is to really dig deep into what exactly you want and then getting to be able to put that plan together for you and really build you out a customized blueprint on the exact situation that you have to go through to get to match your situation with your goals to be able to get that dream life that you're looking for, right? So because of this, we all need to be able to do that market research. We all need to be able to build a team. We all need to understand financing. We all have to understand how to do those deal analysis. We all need to be able to do those things. But the results of that, the understanding of that data is going to be different for every single one of us. And that's the place we need to get clear on. That is not a cookie cutter answer. That is something that is specific to each and every single one of us. So I know we talked about this yesterday, but for those of you that were with me, we really talked about that idea of being able to bet on yourself, to being able to go out there and actually try and to kind of do the damn thing rather than just say, nah, I'm just going to wait. And yesterday we had an overwhelming number of women that felt that the person that was going to do nothing and just let time slip by was actually the one that was in the riskier position than the person that was willing to give themselves a chance to have the life that they dream of. So I want to ask again on this call, are you the person that would rather try or die? So let me know down in the chat. Are you a person that's going to go for it and try, or are you a person that's just going to let time slip by day after day after day? Our inner circle, we're opening soon. If you showed up today, you clearly are somebody that's looking to make sure that you want to make a change. So if you're a person that has been with us all week and you are willing to bet on yourself, feel free to join our wait list for the inner circle, okay? So that way you can spend some time thinking about why you are holding yourself back. If you want this, join our wait list today, so that way you will get a chance at joining the inner circle. Write the word wait list down on the chat, and I'll make sure to get you signed up and on that list, okay? You'll be the first in the know about the inner circle. But I'm going to warn you now, the inner circle is only for action takers, okay? Those that are saying, I cannot go another day without being able to make these changes, without getting the steps that I need to be able to move forward. That's who the inner circle is for, okay? The inner circle is not for the people that are saying like, oh, that's okay, maybe I want to do this, maybe I'm ready for a change, maybe I'll do something, I guess real estate's good for me. If that is you, please do not sign up on our wait list. Please don't. That's not for you, okay? We're looking for the people that are saying like, I rack my brain every day figuring out how I'm going to do this. I am ready. I just need a little bit of support, okay? Those are the people that this is for, because I am not here to convince you to do this. I am not here to convince you that you deserve the life you want to live. Those are things that you need to know on your own, but what I can do is make sure that you will never, ever, ever feel alone in that process. I will also make sure to be able to provide you with that expert advice that you need as you're going through those steps, and I will walk alongside you with our other members of the inner circle to really make sure that we actually have fun going through all those steps to get you to your dream life. And I can also fill in that blank when you're kind of feeling like, but I don't know the things that I don't know. Great. Let us fill in those spaces for you.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords Podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlords.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.